Utility right now is making a comeback in crypto. That rotation from memes and gambling back to utility projects that actually do something concrete and pragmatic. We're seeing that in full effect right now. And there are two projects in particular that you've likely seen a lot of recently. There's been talk that's overlapped with Washington, D.C. and politics and really all over the rest of the world as well. These are Cardano and Ripple. Both are getting a lot of attention lately. Both are very, very high profile. And so we asked the question today, which of their two tokens will do better in 2025, ADA or XRP? In other words, if you were to hold only one, which would you choose? Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the very best of luck if you choose to invest, Cardano, Ripple, or otherwise. I wish you very, very well. Just remember that I'm not a financial or investment advisor, which means that this video by extension is not official financial or investment advice. So we're going to begin by making the case for each project here, beginning with ADA, then we'll look at Ripple, and then we'll issue a verdict at the end. And really the case for Cardano has to begin with Charles Hoskinson himself, because after years of complaining about anything and everything not related to Cardano, Hoskinson more recently has become a team player to his credit for the industry, and really in terms of cryptocurrency is one of its best advocates. And a result of this is better exposure and better opportunities for Cardano with other chains and other projects. Cardano as an active layer 2 for Bitcoin is a big bullish case in its favor. For those of you that may not know, Bitcoin and Cardano use the same account and transaction setup. Ethereum, by contrast, uses EOAs. These are externally owned accounts to track activity, whereas Bitcoin and Cardano both use UTXO, or otherwise known as unspent transaction outputs. UTXOs are basically like when you break a $20 bill to pay for something that costs less, let's say $8. And if you pay for something that costs $8 with $20, you're going to get $12 back in change. So that $12 in change is your unspent transaction because you got it back. The important thing about this is that both Bitcoin and Cardano use the same system. Although Cardano has tweaked a couple of little things, minor details in their system that represents a net benefit. And these represent improvements ultimately. But at the end of the day here, there is certainly natural compatibility between the two, between Cardano and Bitcoin, that does not exist with Ethereum's Solidity language and that EOA account setup. And Cardano's latest upgrade now makes it the most decentralized blockchain in the industry, according to the Nakamoto coefficient. That is a measure of how many validators can hypothetically gain control of 1/3 of the network. This applies to proof of stake chains only, so not Bitcoin. And now Cardano is the most decentralized because it needs 77 validators to align. And for the first time, we have a major blockchain that has finally provided a real solution for privacy. This is Cardano's Midnight protocol. Midnight is going to have its own token and will likely be the top ecosystem project on the day that it launches. It deals specifically with one problem that people tend to ignore about crypto. That is the fact that we cannot get worldwide adoption without some level of privacy or shielding of financial transactions. It is an absolute necessity, and Cardano is going to have it. As far as tokenomics go, Cardano has 87% of its tokens in circulation, and it's on the upper side of the top 10 across all crypto projects by market cap. Cardano right now is valued at about $25 billion. This Altcoin Buzz Spotlight is brought to you by BYDFi. And if you're an American here, I'm talking to you because we found an exchange that gives you the best of both worlds. If you want to trade spot markets with over 400 trading pairs without KYC, then you can. If you want to trade perpetual markets on over 150 trading pairs with KYC that accepts Americans, and Canadians too, by the way, then you can as well. The only exchange that we've seen in the market that lets you do both simple spot trading without KYC and perps trading with KYC that Americans can use is BYDFi. BYDFi gives you all of the tools that you need without the crazy requirements. And right now they have a terrific altcoin promotion going on. However, it is only going on for the month of March. It's actually a trading competition exclusively for our Altcoin Buzz community. And they're offering rewards for trading volume, for weekly ROI, and for total ROI. Winners will earn USDT deposited directly into their BYDFi account. That means you can start earning bonuses to give your account that extra dry powder it may need right now. Look, if you haven't checked out BYDFi yet, now is the time. Check out the link in the description of this video, sign up, no need for KYC, and start trading instantly. Also, be sure to take advantage of this competition and this campaign. All right, so now we'll make the case for XRP and examine some of the arguments why, if you're to hold only one, it should be XRP for 2025. So first of all, the SEC lawsuit is winding down. I've been talking a lot about this lately, but it really is a big deal. And that's because you cannot underestimate how much of a drag the uncertainty from the SEC has been holding XRP back. Even the most pessimistic, even those that are against Ripple for whatever reason, will likely have to concede that this case is winding down and will wind down in 2025. Some think that it's going to happen by mid-April, which basically means any day now. But either way, XRP is going to be able to get back to business without having this whole issue of the SEC hanging over them as a project. And then also, its RLUSD stablecoin is growing in influence, and all kinds of places are adopting it. Dubai is actually the latest example, and that means many influential crypto people based there can start using it. Then we have a huge TradFi investment fund in the form of Franklin Templeton. They just filed for an XRP ETF. This is extremely positive, and also they're not the only ones, as you can see here. Looking at tokenomics, we have 58% of XRP's tokens, which are in circulation. That is less than Cardano, to be sure. However, the flip side of that, perhaps, is that it ranks higher by market cap, ranked number 4 as I record, in the $130 or so billion range. Ripple's XRP ranks only behind Tether, Ethereum, and of course, Bitcoin. So, where do we stand? Cardano is a better advocate for the industry, and working directly with Bitcoin instead of trying to bring CBDCs to banks is a positive in my view. It's 5 times smaller by market value, approximately, and it's also the most decentralized. So those are the positives for Cardano, whereas Ripple is trying to solve the bigger problem of slow, chunky, expensive SWIFT for international money movement and payments. It's 5 times larger. Maybe you view that as a positive or a negative. It's poised to grow very quickly, like I said, once that SEC lawsuit settles and is completely dropped. And Ripple's also making quarterly sales to retail directly from Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse's account to use retail as exit liquidity. After the SEC lawsuit is behind it, XRP may grow faster in the short term, and they are trying to solve a big problem in terms of moving money around internationally. That is a $150 trillion annual industry that SWIFT oversees. So the potential there is just unbelievably massive. Okay, but that said, Cardano arguably is solving a bigger problem with Bitcoin usage and privacy too. And that's without doing the odious things of pumping CBDCs or using your most loyal followers as exit liquidity. And I'll say it again, XRP is 5 times larger for now, but I don't think it's 5 times better than Cardano. And that means that right now, for my money at today's prices, I'm going to take Cardano, ADA, over XRP. Of course, even though I expect both of these are going to make money in 2025 and for the next few years. Both are great projects. Both are all of a sudden in the spotlight again, and deservedly so. But if you were to put a gun to my head and I had to pick today, yeah, it's going to be ADA.